Hello, and welcome to It's Fate, a fantasy novel recap podcast where two friends dive into your favorite fantasy reads. I'm Morgan Barker.
I'm Katie Christiansen, and today we are going over chapters 1 through 12 of The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I looked it up before.
You did?
Before I have, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it, and then...
It's fine.
Guys, it's like...
It's hard out here.
It is.
Also, we just recorded this entire episode, only for it to not work, so...
Sorry if it sounds...
Back at it again with the white bands.
So I'm going to pretend that I heard none of your thoughts.
Yeah, same. I'm going to be like, whoa, that's what you think? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, well, we're wearing orange.
We're wearing orange for puppies.
Yes, because we live in California and the California poppy is orange, which we both didn't realize that poppies come in so many different colors.
Which is maybe kind of silly because in Reckless,
Which we both read and talked about.
it talks about red poppies,
Yeah.
but I'm not a florist or a plant person.
A planter.
A planter. A horticulturist. Is that what they're called?
I think so, yes. I do have a fun fact that I know I just read to you, but I'm going to read it again. I thought this was really interesting. To increase visibility to pollinators, a California poppy flower has a large central spot that absorbs ultraviolet radiation while reflecting the longer wavelengths. So their actual color is ultraviolet, but we as humans cannot see ultraviolet light, so we see a solid orange blossom.
I would love to see it in ultraviolet.
What does that even mean? Like,
I'm sure that there are pictures of it.
yeah. Is there though? Like if our eyes cannot register it.
Yeah, like you can see like ultraviolet. Like there's like the space telescopes and they take like pictures of in like the
I
ultraviolet
have to look it up.
scales. I mean, obviously it's like not perfect.
Yeah. And rereading this fact, I think it's the centerpiece only that
Like
we then
the black
see.
part.
Yeah. Where it
Yeah.
just looks all like orange to us, basically. I don't know. But I just thought
Interesting.
that was cool.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
How are you doing besides having our episode completely delete itself?
It just feels like it's on brand for
The week?
life lately.
Yeah.
Just a little tired. Got a little kink in my neck.
Sorry.
It's all right. Have you read anything else recently?
I have read. I'm currently reading Fireborn.
Ooh.
It's a fantasy book. I'm really liking it, but I haven't been like super reading it. It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you know how I read that Reverse Harem book?
Yes.
So I'm reading the second book, and it actually is better than the first book.
Okay.
The main character. Okay, so I'm reading. It's the Bonds That Tie.
Okay.
That's the series. I'm on the second book called Savage Bonds. The main character drives me crazy.
Yeah.
She's like annoying to me. I also don't think like the author's that good of a writer, but like I'm intrigued.
That's so funny that you basically don't like the book, but you like the book.
Yeah, so I have do you feel like there's some books where like you really like it, but I'm like, I wouldn't recommend this to like everyone.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
even like anyone.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I feel like it's one of those where I'm like, I need to like know your vibe first, because if you're just like going to read that series for like fun and entertainment, I think that's great.
Right. Just like a little casual.
Yeah.
little
But
light reading.
the main character is really annoying to me. Yeah, the main character is just annoying, and I think a part of it is I'm like, why won't you get with these men?
Why won't you get with them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she won't bond with them, which I understand. Like, I understand.
Okay. Is it fantasy?
It's fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
Interesting.
like bonded to like the most powerful men in like their little society,
Wow.
but she won't bond with them. But they're like, of course, all obsessed with her. Well, some of them are.
It's like
But-
Aelin.
Yeah, she is kind of like Aelin, where it is I'm like, she's always like, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm like, girl, calm down.
Are you? Can we take a breath?
Yeah. She's more like Selena than she is like Aelin.
Okay.
Where you're kind of being annoying and immature.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
But then everyone's obsessed with her still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you reading?
Well, I just finished Magnolia Parks.
Oh, how'd you like it?
I liked it. The beginning was slow for me. It took about almost 200 pages for me to be like, oh yeah, I can't put this down. It's awful. Like the characters are awful, but it's addicting.
There's something about it that you're like, I'm still intrigued in the story.
Well, and I think it's purposeful. Like these characters, it's purposeful how toxic they are. Yeah. But I enjoyed it, and I can't start the second one yet because it's not available at my library. I'm waiting. I'm on hold.
Good job.
So then I started something, I can't remember the author. It's called Beastly Beauty. And it is I guess she does a few twists on fairy tales. And so I'm listening to it, and the first hour I have no idea what happened. Like I could not follow. Could not. And I don't know if it's because of the author, if it's just because I wasn't like present enough. I don't know. But now I'm into it. It's very interesting. The female is the beast, but we haven't actually seen her. I don't really know. Like there's a beast in this castle. I don't know if it's her, but she's supposed to be the beast, but her name is Annabelle, so she's also Belle. But then he's the one who like is gonna break the spell. Like it's gonna happen. I just don't know how. But the servants, instead of them, the people who like are in her, she's human, and there's all these people in her court, but they're all super weird and strange. And you find out it's all her emotions manifested, like her negative emotions, like rage and fear and all these things that are keeping her captive. And the emotions of faith, hope, and love have been like locked away in the dungeon. And the whole idea is that she was supposed to be, she's the Duchess's daughter. It's been 100 years now. She's trapped in time. And she was supposed to be this like perfect docile girl of the time. It takes place in 1800 whatever, I don't know, and marry whatever. And she wanted to go be an architect, and she didn't want to just get married.
I love architecture.
I don't know. I know. I was like, architecture, okay. And because of that, she's like a beast because she's not a typical woman.
I see.
Yeah. So I don't know how the spell was cast. I don't know. I'm about halfway through. It's very interesting. And there's a little, like, it's creepy too. It's not horror at all, but there's just like creepy things.
Interesting. You have to tell me if you like it.
I will. I'm still, like, I'm very intrigued, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. But good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah.
Well, we're also drinking some blood orange, black raspberry, San Pellegrino.
San Pellegrino.
I just noticed it says S Pellegrino on it.
It does. How do we know it's San?
I don't know.
Isn't that, oh, it says right here. Is that the place?
It sounds like a place. I don't know.
Do you like this one?
I do. I like.
It's not as sweet.
It's not. I like blood oranges.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, this is much more like sparkling water. The one we had last week was also Pellegrino, but it had sugar in it, so it was like a.
I like this one less.
Yeah.
Less sugar.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
I would drink it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Well, we're going to get into the first part of the Poppy War.
Yeah. So if you haven't read it, go read it and come back.
First impression, immediately, it starts with, take your clothes off. And I was like, I thought this was YA.
Yeah.
But she's taking a test. She's taking her like entrance exam. And she has to like get naked. And then they have to look in her mouth. And then they tell her, one of them asks like, where do we go to the bathroom? And they're like, there's a bucket at the back of the
Absolutely
classroom.
not.
I could never.
No. This IBS girly could not handle that.
No.
It would just make my symptoms worse.
You would be in the back?
I would. I'd be stuck there. I'd just bring my desk. That'd be my new chair. The
Just
bucket.
put it under you.
Yeah.
People are like, excuse me, I need that. You're like,
it's unavailable. I have it reserved. Okay. Medical necessity. Also, like, what kind of cheating apparatus are you going to put in your mouth?
I have no idea.
Parchment and paper? It's just going to disintegrate. You can eat paper. I don't think they had laminators in this time.
Yeah. I don't know what they're putting. Maybe you have like a tooth. You could, like a fake tooth that you can take out. And
That's like
you
little
wrapped a
scribbles.
scroll inside the tooth.
inside the tooth.
Yeah.
The smallest scroll ever, and it has all the information.
It does.
Oh my gosh.
It's like when did you ever have like cheat sheets and you can like write? Did you ever like write like super small?
Yes, like when you could have one note card.
One note
You're
card.
like, okay, the tiniest script I've ever had. Yes, I remember those days.
It's like that.
Yeah.
But your tooth.
What did you think of the map?
It wasn't super detailed.
I didn't really like it. I'm like,
I
this
didn't like
is
it
really
either.
telling me almost nothing.
I would like go and refer to it thinking that it would tell me information.
Same. And I'm
It
like,
wouldn't.
don't know what this is. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in that. I also didn't realize as we started reading it that there was going to be no romance. Because we picked this book because we typically do romanticises. And we were like, yes, Poppy War. And I picked it up and within
2 seconds.
2 seconds I knew. I was
Yeah.
like, this is not a romance book. And that's okay. I like it.
Yeah. I think what's hard is like I don't want to spoil I know you feel that way too. I don't want to spoil the book or the series in any way, so I don't want to look too much into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind just straight up fantasy.
No, me neither. Not
Yeah.
at all. But I was just like, oh, okay.
No
Not what I
romance.
expected. Fine, I'll get
You're
over
gonna,
it.
You've been wishing for it though. I feel like throughout the book you were like,
I know.
this is gonna be it.
I know.
Maybe.
Because I love. I love it. It's so much fun. I also got some Harry Potter vibes. Yeah, did you?
Yes. A lot of Harry Potter vibes.
Even just Rin being an orphan,
The orphan
going to this college that nobody would have expected her to go to.
Yeah, her like orphaned parents or her foster parents like hate her.
Yeah,
They treat her like crap.
yeah.
She has a brother.
Foster brother,
Yeah.
but he likes her.
he likes her at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a booster seat because I'm so small. I have a pillow
Your legs
because
are
I'm
just so
shorter
long.
than Katie. But it was falling. Okay,
There you go. You
I'm
strapped
ready.
it.
I'm strapped. Buckle me up. Oh my goodness.
I immediately loved Rin.
Me too.
I loved how strong she was and how determined she was. And her drive to get her goals was really, really inspiring.
Yes. However, she did. She was so driven that she would choose to opt for self-harm, which was a little much.
It was really
It added the complexity to her character, which I had liked, but I was like, dang, you are desperate. Yeah. You're so desperate to achieve this goal. And it's not even so much, I feel like later we see more of just the like, I want to be successful. I want to be powerful. But in these moments, it was like, I'm so desperate to escape. Like I have to do whatever it takes to change the life I'm currently living.
Yeah, I thought the burning was an interesting choice. I would not choose burning.
No, which is interesting
Personally?
that later her power manifests as fire.
Ooh, Morgan, that was a good little connection there.
Thank you.
I didn't even think of that. You're
Yeah.
right. She's not scared of fire at all.
No, she isn't.
Yeah.
So on the note of burning, the reason she started doing that is because as she's studying, her tutor Feyric, tells her a story about somebody who, I can't remember what he was doing, if he was studying for the test or whatever, but this person pinned his hair to the ceiling so that every time he nodded off to sleep, it would pull his hair and he would stay awake. And Rin's like, yes, I need to hurt myself because pain will keep me awake. Thanks so much. And he's like, that's not what I'm trying to teach you here. But then he never tells us what he's trying to teach her. What do you think the point of the story was?
I felt like he was trying to tell her, like, what are ways for you to help stay awake and stay motivated? Not burning.
Yeah, because
yourself
even
or harming yourself.
even pinning your hair to the ceiling, like it's going to cause pain, but it's not the same as having candle wax drip on your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very different.
It is very different because at least, like, it's just temporary and it's not going to scar you, and it's just
It's like when you pinch yourself to stay awake.
Yeah.
When you're just like, oh, gotta stay awake. Like that's not self-harm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rin has goals.
She is an achiever.
Yeah.
That girl.
There was a lot of characters.
So many.
Do you want to break them down how you remember
Yes.
them?
Yes. I connected them to Harry Potter. Rin, obviously Harry. Just the orphan vibes, the underdog vibes. Also, there's very much a chosen one element in this book, which same with Harry. So she goes to Singard, which is the college, which even just that environment made me think of Hogwarts. Just all the professors, them being in this big dining hall or this big room where all the professors are introduced and they all represent a different study. Very similar to Hogwarts. So the one real friend that she makes is named Katai. He's like Ron and Hermione morphed into one.
Yeah, because he's very smart.
Yeah.
And he's funny.
Yes.
Charming.
And kind. I liked him a lot. And then Neja, who is the bully, at least at the beginning, very Draco, but he's hot. That's what Rin says. Rin's like, he's beautiful. He's the most beautiful boy I've ever seen in my life.
She thinks, yeah. She's obsessed with his body.
His looks. Yeah. I think it's like his face.
Yeah.
Like she just loves his face.
Yeah.
And even later in the book, at one point, this might even be in the second part, but she is seeing an army march in and she's like, and amongst them was the most beautiful boy that ever lived. And I was like, she's talking about Neja.
And you're like, romance.
Yeah. And then no. But very Draco with just like being so elitist. So just like, you are below me because you don't come from the same place that I do.
Prejudice.
Yes. And then Master Jean, who's the combat master, kind of gave me Snape vibes without the redemption piece. Like Snape was very layered. I don't feel like Jean is. Jean is just like, Jean is what we initially see Snape as.
Yeah.
And then Master Zhang, which is the lore master. He is... I was like, I feel like he's the Dumbledore here, even though there is a headmistress, just because he is like whimsical and
he has all the knowledge.
He has all the knowledge. He actually holds a lot of power, even though he hasn't come off that way.
Yeah.
But he withholds a lot from Rin and is like teaching her, but not teaching her enough. Which makes me think of Dumbledore.
Yeah, and it's almost he withholds to protect her, but it's to a fault.
Yes, which is a lot like Dumbledore with Harry. Like he really thought he was doing his best, and I think Zhang thinks the same thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so too.
There were a couple other masters, but the last one that really is prominent is Master Ira. Irjaa. I feel like the J is a ya sound.
I think you're...
I'm going to say Ira. Irya.
I just had a nephew born named Ira.
Oh.
It's I-R-A.
I-R-A. That's cute. There's an author, Ira Levin. He writes some good, weird stuff. Old. He's an old author. Anyway. Professor McGonagall vibes because he's like very openly... He just is really supportive of his students and he's very respected. Everyone really loves him. It seems like has the respect, but also it's because he respects his students, not because he's like a jerk like Jean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's respected because he's so knowledgeable and wants to help the students to be the best that they can be.
Yes. And he's definitely, even in the times that they're in his class, like he really is open to all of them talking, and he's even to Rin, like he likes her and is kind to her. So
yeah,
that's how they all stayed in my brain.
Before we jump into like the chapters, I did a little name corner on just a few of our characters. So of course Rin. So her full name is Runin, and in Mandarin Chinese it means soft, moist, sleek, calm, and peaceful.
Which is like not her at all.
Not her at all. But in Japanese it means an exile.
Ooh.
Which is perfect for her.
Yes, I agree.
Neja is a protection deity in Chinese Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and Chinese folk religion. And in Arabic, it means honesty and virtuous.
Okay.
Which
I don't
maybe
know.
That might come into play later.
I feel like there's a lot we don't know about him.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then Jiang means river in Chinese. And I looked up his first name. It's Zia.
Okay.
Zia, I think. And in Arabic and Turkish, it means splendor or radiance. Which I feel like he's very radiant.
Yeah. And he's flowing like a river.
River of knowledge.
Yeah. I like it.
Katai. I love him.
Me too.
It's a Jewish name meaning canvas.
Okay.
It's like a linen trader, which I'm like, I don't know how that ties in.
Yeah.
But
I don't either.
Chen is his family name, and that means dawn and charming.
I see the charm.
Me too.
He has the charm. I like him a lot. Who was your favorite? Who's your favorite character?
I really liked Rin. I think my favorite character, though, is Katai.
I think so, too. And I really like Neja.
Me too.
As well. I'm very intrigued by him.
Me too. At the end of this book, I really was ready for more.
Me too. But Katai was like right off the bat. I'm like, you are the only friend to our girl, and I'm here for that.
Yeah. So let's jump into some of the things that happen.
Yeah.
Or some of our thoughts. So we kind of talked about already her test. So she did that. And her burning herself.
So she gets there. She gets to Singard, and she's very much made to feel less than because of the color of her skin, which is indicative of where she's from, because she's from a southern province. So just must be like
prejudice against her.
I'm trying to remember, was it because the people in the southern provinces did more physical labor that they were dark skinned, or was it because they were just like closer to the equator? Like, I don't know.
I think they were poorer, so they did have to work out in the...
That's what I thought. Yeah. So it was like, it showed where she came from in terms of money, which she had none. So...
And even just like a people, right? Like some people are just darker, and I think they did have a lot of prejudice in her.
Yeah.
In the
state. And there weren't a lot of people who came from those areas to get into Singard because it's so prestigious, and it's like you have to, I don't know. I have a feeling a lot of people from where Rin was didn't even think that they could try. So, but I love that she's just such an underdog right away.
Me too. Me too. And even I love how she cut her hair right before going. It was I was like, oh, I'm ready for it. I love a good haircut transformation. And I thought it was really funny. She said, the women here are so white.
I know.
That's how I felt when I moved to Utah.
Oh.
It's like, why is everyone so white and blonde here?
She's in Utah.
She's
in Utah for soldiers. When she gets there, and shortly afterwards, I mean, this is so early in chapter 4, Rin and Neja get in a fight during their combat class, and they're not supposed to actually fight each other, and Master Jun disciplines them very differently.
I hate him.
I was so mad. So Neja basically is just told to like leave the class for that day and like go cool off. Rin is kicked out of his class eternally. Like, she's never allowed to come back. And he talks so belittling and poorly to her. And it made me so pissed off to think of the prejudiceness and the elitism going all the way to the professors. It's like when you see it amongst the students who are 16 at the time, it's still disgusting, but you're like, you're kids, you don't know what you're talking about. But then you see the professors and you're like, this is why the kids act this way, because the elders amongst them act this way.
And he was just allowed to kick a student out simply for breaking a rule that someone else did. It was not fair at all.
Yeah.
He set Rin up for failure from the start, because if she scores low on her battling at the end of the year, she's kicked out.
Yeah, and that's what he wants. He doesn't want her to stay there.
I do not like him at all.
No, me neither. And he just sucks.
The whole school is just literally a cult.
Yeah. What did you tell us about their cult behavior?
Yeah. They kept them hungry. And the quote is, I have it here, "Hunger is good and will keep you light and focused." No, it won't.
No, absolutely not. I'm most focused after I eat a Crunchwrap Supreme from Taco Bell. Which sounds really good now.
Really good.
I'm actually getting hungry.
Yeah, but I was like, okay, that's cult. That's cult behavior to keep them hungry.
Yes.
Sleep deprivation is another one, which they do too. They have to study so hard that they won't sleep. She won't sleep. She's freaking burning herself again.
Yeah, that's right. She does it again at school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. How about when she gets her period for the first time and has never been told what menstruation is, wakes up. This is shortly after she gets kicked out of the class, and they fought. So I think she thinks it's like something Neja, some way that he hit her. She wakes up and she's just bleeding everywhere in her bed, and she's like, "I'm dying.
That'd be so
like something's
scary.
wrong with me." Yeah. Yeah.
That's terrifying. And then she decides, well, they kind of like, they don't pressure her into doing it, but
No.
I don't know, she's really young.
She's so young.
To be basically like making a decision. I'm like, there's no birth control or something.
Yeah, where's the tea? Where's the
Yeah.
brew? The fertility brew. The contraceptive brew, that's what it's called. No, they were like, and it's not even, the purpose was not for preventing pregnancy. She didn't want to get her period every month.
Yeah.
She was just like, nope, I can't deal with this. This is too painful.
It definitely shows how, again, her ruthlessness in getting her goals. She will harm her body.
Yeah.
In order to get where she needs, in order to be a good little soldier.
And these are the themes where I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, these don't feel as YA. But maybe as a teenager I would have like brushed over that. But I'm like, this is like intense. Like she is harming her body at an age where she's just kind of too young. She's not a fully formed human.
No, and this is her first period, and
that's
very common for it to be.
Yeah.
Really,
but she's had nobody guiding her,
no one guiding
nobody
her.
talking her through it, and the college even encourages. They're like, "Yep, we don't need pregnant soldiers.
We want all the women, all the girls to do this.
We don't need pregnant soldiers, and we don't want you to have to miss class due to pregnancy." Oh my gosh. But before she does this, I almost forgot. She describes what she has to wear because she has to go through her first period. It's a full girdle, and I looked it up, and this was like truly a thing. It was like belted and then had a strip of cloth that went under the legs. Can you imagine?
No.
That's what people had to do.
No. I actually read a book when I was around that age, like middle school, when I got my period, and it talked about that, having a girdle. And I remember being like, that sounds awful.
Yeah. Like, it's already awful
It's
alone.
Like and then it's like uncomfortable because you have these like things strapped to you and blood just leaking everywhere. I mean, periods are
It's rough. It's rough out there for women.
It is. Rin mentions how her accent is different.
Yeah.
And she talks about how the Singardian accent has a curt R sound at the end of words. And I thought, Australian. Nar.
Nar. R&R.
I feel like I could not do an Australian accent at all.
No, I can only do Nor. Nor, Cleo! Because I've heard it a million times. That's it. That's all I can say.
It's the most.
Yeah. I know. I was like, okay, what could I practice saying here that would be like in a Singardian accent? And I would sit in my bed and like, what am I? Can't do it. I can't do it. It's too embarrassing.
It's a hard one.
Yeah. But it also, like, just describing the R's doesn't really say much. But
Neja, in the first half of the book, just drove me crazy.
He was a class A jerk.
He was insufferable.
Yeah.
He called Alton. He said that he's no smarter than a monkey. He said women shouldn't be in charge. I did not like him at all in the beginning of this book.
No, he was like, I'm telling you, he was like Draco. Just very, like, totally insufferable. Like you said, you feel like there's not a single redeeming quality about him, except he's drop dead gorgeous, apparently. Which,
that helps.
no offense to the actor that plays Draco Malfoy.
Tom Felton?
I mean, he's fine, but he's not like, I'm not drooling over him.
No. Have you ever, like, seen him in an interview, though?
No.
He's very likable.
Oh.
I think his personality really wins people
He's
over.
a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not ugly. He's an actor.
No, he's not ugly at all. But I'm like, he's not.
Yeah.
The way Rin describes him is like, this is the Rhysand of if Rhysand was a jerk, was a bully.
Which he is to most people.
Agree to disagree?
Well, I'm saying, like, you know, because everyone thinks he's evil.
Oh,
That's what I mean.
right.
He portrays
to be this bad guy.
The bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, we're only getting Rin's perspective, so maybe she's the only one who thinks he's beautiful.
No, because Katai, I think, knows he's hot, too.
Katai, like, thinks he's a god.
Yeah. And, like, has mentioned how, like, Venka has always had, like, a crush on him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Zhang, though, this is when I love his whimsicalness. Zhang, there's a moment where he flips Neja's lunch tray.
Oh, my gosh.
I loved it. I was like, yes.
And then he sings inappropriate songs and makes fart noises.
The fart noises annoyed me. I could see could you imagine being at work and someone being like, oh, yeah. Are you trying to ask?
And he's already somebody that nobody takes seriously.
Oh, he drove me crazy sometimes.
He was an oddball, for sure.
Even, again, like, his teaching style to, like, Rin, I'm like, you're not being...
Okay, so...
telling her anything.
So, she gets kicked out of the combat class. She's training in Zhang's garden because he's never there. He never teaches a class. And she still goes to class every day, even though there's no class. So she starts training herself there. He finds her. He's like, I will help you. He takes her to the village. He's like, here's my friend. She's a butcher or something. I don't know. Take this pig up to the mountain and back for a drink of water every day.
Like in Holes.
Yeah, in Karate Kid, minus the pig, plus a car and a fence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, okay, we got some unconventional teaching methods here.
Yes. And it's just very, like, roundabout. Like, she was saying that she had to, like, think about, like, how she would ask her questions.
Yeah.
How he wouldn't even answer her, really. He would give this, like roundabout answers. And I'm like, this would drive me crazy. And she's a child. Why are you doing this?
I know.
Yeah.
So weird. Did you predict anything about his class?
I had a feeling that she would pledge lore.
Me too.
Especially towards the end, of the end of the first half. And I didn't really know anything though.
Yeah.
Else. I didn't predict anything else about his class.
I had a feeling he taught shamans because I don't remember what gave it away to me.
The drugs, the plants,
being in there.
Yeah.
And when she started practicing in there, I was like, okay, he's going to end up teaching her. Why would he teach her? It must be because, and why isn't he teaching anybody else? Like, it must be because it's for shamans and they're rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of predictions.
Yeah, but it was good. It wasn't obvious. Like, nothing was super obvious.
No. I didn't think so either. I do love his... there is a part of me that does understand why he wasn't explicit in his teachings and why he was basically trying to teach Rin, like, the cycle of life. He has a really beautiful quote, I thought. He says, this is when she was, like, meditating and she realized that she, like, saw kind of like the cycle of life. And he said, we don't die so much as return to the void. We dissolve. We lose our ego. We change from being just one thing to becoming everything. Most of us, at least. And I just thought that was a really beautiful way of describing just the cycle of life.
Yeah.
And teaching her that she's just like one of the world. But maybe a hard concept to grasp at 16.
I know, definitely. But she's grasping a lot of hard things at this age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is. But not everything.
No.
What did you think about Rin not telling Zhang about her encounter with the Phoenix and the Spearly woman when she first hallucinated and went up to like their spirit world? She completely left that out for her.
I know. And I think it's because she knew that he was going to steer her in a different direction, just based off of the teaching style that he'd had. And she wanted to keep that to herself. Maybe she was a little scared. I don't know.
Would you have kept that to yourself?
Probably not. I would have been freaked out. I would have been like, explain this to me.
Me too.
I also have no desire to wield a god's power.
No.
None at all.
Especially theirs.
No, I'm good.
Finding out later in the book, I kind of like what happens to you when you do submit yourself to having that power.
Yeah. If it was like a god of healing or love, sure, maybe.
Aphrodite.
Yeah.
Just make everyone fall in love with you.
Like your books.
Like my book.
Your reverse harem books. When she's meditating and she goes into the spirit world, it made me think of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Aang meditating.
Oh, and he sees all the past avatars.
But even when he like enters, because he goes into the spirit realm, and how his body's kind of like it's still there, it's still him, but he's not. His consciousness isn't there anymore.
It kind of freaked me out when first of all, how she was meditating there
Days.
Yeah. And then she talks about how she was like, she felt like she was like almost trapped in her body. And then she was like free and it was like raining. So she like felt it was raining, but then she like wasn't there. It's very interesting, but scary.
Yeah. And it makes me think of like the idea of astro projecting and how your body's left behind. And I'm like, anything could happen to your body. Like, you're not there to protect yourself. And that's what I thought for her, too. It's like, if you're in the spirit realm, not anything could happen to you.
You're at risk.
Yeah.
Someone could just snatch your body.
Yeah, or kill you.
True.
Anyway. So let's talk about Alton a little bit.
Okay.
First of all, the red eyes. Hot or not?
Eyes. Scary. I feel like maybe they're like a brownish red or like a blackish red.
I think they're red.
I think they're red.
I think they're red. But we can say that for our own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're like
red.
Like that clipboard.
Like this.
Yeah. They're red. But it's the irises.
The irises. Not the whites.
No.
He's not a stoner. Well,
he is addicted to drugs, but that's not what this is about. Yeah.
it's the red eyes
Of the Phoenix.
The Phoenix is scary. I would not want that god.
No. But yeah, I'm not into that. The red eyes creeps me out a little bit. Just makes me think of evil.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. When Rin, her first conversation with him, she meets him. She walks into Zhang's garden and Alton's there, or vice versa. I can't remember. And I don't remember what she says. She says something. And he responds, like, it wasn't anything super weird, but her reaction to her just speaking anything to him was, why had she said that? Why did she exist? She wanted to crumble into ashes and scatter away into the air. And I was like, hello, teenage girl. I see you. I relate to you in this moment very deeply.
I do relate to her. Sometimes I still feel that way. I'm like, why did I say that?
Yeah, but especially going back to like when you were, a teenager and you had crushes and were flirting with boys or whatever, and like that feeling of I'm an idiot, they hate me, they overanalyzed everything I just said, just like I'm overanalyzing it, and they never want to speak to me again, and now I need to disappear.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And she like idolized him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very relatable.
It really was. Oh my goodness. What do you think about Katai?
I love him.
Yeah.
I think he has a really good heart. I hope that he has more influence on Rin.
Me too.
Because I do feel like he keeps a really level head in a way that Rin does not.
Yes. And he's not like a goody two shoes by any means, but he's very, I just feel like he sees the whole side of things, which is why he's like, yeah, I grew up with Neja and he's technically my friend, even though he kind of ignores me. But then he's also going to be like best friends with Rin. Like he can hold space for all of that.
Yeah. And know that being friends with Neja is probably a good thing for his life.
Yes.
And like career.
Yeah. For
and
influence
family.
and power. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the more we learned about the shamans and the gods, which kind of started happening when Rin was meditating and whatnot, it made me think of another piece of media, Moon Knight, which is a Marvel comic, but they made it in a TV show. And it has Oscar Isaac in it. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
He's so handsome.
Oh, yeah.
I love him. He is the main character, and there's a lot that happens in the show. But the thing that I saw that made me think of this is that it's Egyptian gods, but they have humans as their avatars, and they channel their power through it to basically as a means to an end to get their dirty work done on Earth. And it's really difficult for them to then separate from that Egyptian god if they ever want to. And the power can be very all-consuming.
Very similar to the shamans. That's basically what kind of happens to them.
Yeah, and they almost like black out, and they don't. He doesn't realize. Well, there's an added element in this show because he also has split personality disorder, and so one of his personalities is the avatar, and then the other one is not, and so he'll like black out and wake up as the other one and be like, "What happened?" So I think you'd really like it. It's kind of.
I think I've seen previews
It's a trip.
for it.
It's wild. It's like, yeah, it's really unique. I liked it a lot.
How many seasons?
It's just one.
Okay.
And I
like
think it's
that.
just a standalone.
Good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like really good shows, they last too long. I'm like,
Yeah, we could just stop there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
yeah, stop grabbing for money.
Yeah.
You ruined it.
Exactly.
The battle.
Yes.
Do you want to go into the battle?
Let's get into the battle. The
So,
Singard battle.
The Singard battle where the Federation goes to just kill them, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Did you expect Neja to help her?
Absolutely not, but I loved it.
Me too. I did not think he was going to help her at all.
And then I'm like,
And
enemies to lovers, enemies to lovers.
I loved how Rin was saying that they fought so well together because they both like analyzed each other and were so observant with each other that they knew their fighting styles and their weakness so much. What a great team.
I know. Yeah, they just fought as one almost. I mean, they held the ground. It was just them.
Yeah.
Just them two.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
It's impressive.
Yeah. What the battle? So the Federation. I'm trying to remember. What we are told. We don't. I feel like there's a lot we don't know. They are coming to her continent, which was called Nakara, I believe. And they're coming there because they want territory because they're running out of space.
That is
on their island. That's what we are led to believe. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes. And Neja gets hurt.
Yeah. I thought he was dead.
Alive.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Because it's described that this general from the Federation like stabs him in the stomach multiple times with a spear or something.
Yeah. With a halberd.
What's that?
A spear or something.
Something. Some sort of weapon.
Some sort of weapon. Can I make a prediction? Neja has to be a shaman, right?
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He would not have survived this. And that's
No.
kind of, it's a character that we meet later. Shagan? Is that how you say his name? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
I feel like is it him who alludes to it or Alton? One of them is like, how did he survive that?
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's no way. And
In such a short period of time, that recovery too.
yeah. And even like his family, like with the dragon crest stuff.
And the next book's called The Dragon Republic.
I'm excited.
Me too. So good.
So, did you think Zhang he basically became the gatekeeper again.
Yeah, he's always been the gatekeeper. Go ahead.
You know what was confusing was the Empress mentioned, she was like, you were like sealed or something.
Does she say that afterwards? When does
Yes.
she say that?
She mentions that.
I think she says he's now sealed. Doesn't? I don't remember. Actually.
I don't know, but it gave me the impression that like he hadn't been using his like there was some block in using his powers, and now he was. But I was really sad. I was like, I really hope he's not dead.
I know, and it all made sense. So I started to think he was the gatekeeper when it was on page 173. I wrote it down when Kitai is talking about the Viper, the Gatekeeper, and the dragon. What was the other guy? I can't remember.
The dragon.
The dragon, whatever. And they said nobody's seen the Gatekeeper since. I was like, it has to be him. And even just the way Rin was describing him, she was like, I have no idea how old he is. He just looks like he doesn't age, but isn't young, but isn't old. And he would look at her in a certain way, and I'm like, he is ancient, like he is immortal for some reason. And I think the Empress is not immortal, like they can die, but they're timeless kind of.
And it was interesting too that he had basically all this power in the school, even though he like didn't do anything. You saw he like didn't teach. He was weird. And so
the headmistress must have known that he was the gatekeeper, even though the other professors didn't.
Yeah, or at least the Empress was like, you can't touch him.
Yeah, something like that.
She was creepy.
Well, and we're kind of jumping into the little bit of the part 2 that is in these chapters. But yeah, she's like a villain.
Yeah, she is a villain.
I did not see that coming.
Me either. I liked that because I did feel like I saw some things coming. But I thought the author did a good job at like leaving those little crumbs without making it too obvious for us. But yeah, the Empress I didn't see coming, being the Viperess.
Yeah, but she was definitely creepy. Okay, 2 questions for you associated with the battle again. As they're preparing for the war, Zhang forbids Rin from calling on her god, which is the Phoenix. And she says to herself, he had shown her a great power, a tantalizing, wonderful power strong enough to protect her city and country, then forbid her from accessing it. A little odd. Kind of goes back to what you were sharing about his teaching style and what I shared at the beginning of how he just withholds certain things. It's weird that he was like, let me show you how to access this power and then just forbid you from using it, but not really explain why.
Yeah. And I felt like that was missing for Ren. I think she would have listened more if she understood what the repercussions were.
I don't know.
I don't know either, because she is fueled with like anger.
And she wants power. And even at the beginning of the book, it didn't take me long to think she could very easily be a villain. Very easily. And just like, she will do anything. She will do anything to achieve her goals, even if it's harming herself. And I felt like that could potentially happen, where she would do anything, even if it meant harming others, in like a way that wasn't necessary. Yeah.
And we see that with when they were doing that drill, or like that scenario in her class.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you just have to.
Her military class, where she was like, well, just drown the citizens in order to get ahead, which...
True. But yeah.
It's a little cutthroat.
A little
scary.
Okay, and then my last question was, during the battle, the Federation general comes up and he sees Rin burning, because this is after Neja's been stabbed, and Rin's like, furious now. So she's burning with the Phoenix's power, and he looks at her with fear, and he's like, you're supposed to be dead. And at first I was like, okay, is he talking about Rin? Is he talking about the Phoenix? And then I thought, as I was reading more and realized a little bit more about the Phoenix's power and who he was associated with, I thought, did he say this because like it was a hint to us that Rin is a Spearly?
I didn't even think about that. I think you're right, though.
Yeah.
I think they were like, we were supposed to wipe you out.
Yes. Like, we killed all of you. Why is this power back?
Yeah. That's a really good hint. A little foreshadow. I didn't catch that.
Which I still am like, is she truly a Spearly? She must be.
Oh, she must be.
But how? Sure. Like, what?
What happened to her? Yeah. Why was she sent to live She was basically like protected. Someone protected her.
Yeah. Just like Alton. But
Yeah.
why and how?
Well,
No, his was
wasn't
different.
protected.
That's right. We'll have to talk
Yeah.
about that. Part 2.
Part 2.
Any other predictions that you had or things you didn't see coming?
I knew she was. You can tell us she was going to pledge lore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I was like, she's obsessed.
Yeah, and we're focusing too much on Zhang for that not to happen.
Yeah, but other than that, I feel like there wasn't a ton in the first part that I
Yeah,
really
same. Crying corner. Any tears shed by you in this first half?
No.
Actually, same. I did get a little emotional, just like a watery rim when Jeune was kicking her out of class because I was just enraged.
Your
It was like a
empathy.
tear of enragement of like, why would you talk to her that way? But no true tears.
Yeah. No true tears.
No. I did pick up on some fun slang from the book.
Okay.
Great tortoise and tiger's tits.
I love tiger's tits.
It's just hilarious to me. Like, what do tiger's tits even look like? I don't know. Now I'm going to Google them.
Oh, I think they're just like a cat. Like when they...
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I pictured, but for some reason I pictured like...
Tits?
No. I pictured like a pig, so like lower on the belly.
Oh.
But I guess a cat and dogs, right? It's like lines their body.
Yeah.
It's just so funny, like so random.
It is funny.
I
like it.
Tiger with boobs.
Wait, I did want to read the nasty part to you.
Oh, love that. From the battle. Okay.
From the battle. I was thinking about you when I read this. It's the part where it's her first like kill.
Love that.
Page 241. It's so funny because this grossed me out. This is where I was like, this is a YA in a different way.
Yeah.
Rin ducked under the soldier's arm and jabbed her sword up through the soft groove beneath his chin, unprotected by the helmet.
Soft.
She cut through fat and sinew, felt
Why?
the tip of her sword pierce directly through his tongue and move up past his nose to where his brain was. His carotid artery exploded over the length of steel. Blood wet her hand to the elbow. He jerked a little and fell toward her.
Okay, why sinew?
I don't like that word.
And like jerk. Like, I don't know. Just like, why do we have to talk about them twitching in their death?
It was very descriptive. Ooh, which I appreciated. I felt like it did a really good job at like basically being like, these are disgusting things that we're doing. War is gross.
And the war. Yeah. We can talk more about it too when we cover the next half of the book because there's a lot more war and a lot more details. But that's when I'm like, this is YA. Like, this is intense. And I feel like it is such a good, like, don't get me wrong. I love Throne of Glass. I love ACOTAR. And there's battle and there's war in that. But, like, this is war. Yeah. This is what I feel like true war could potentially be like. Mm-hmm. It's so descriptive. And it's long and it's drawn out and it's not these quick little battles and it's deceptive and it's unfair and it's brutal and ugly.
Yeah.
So on that note,
we'll be going over the next half of the Poppy War in next episode.
Chapters 13 through the end of the book.
And then we're going to be starting reading the Dragon Republic. Have you started it at all?
I read just the like prologue.
Okay.
Have you started it? Okay.
I have not started it.
Okay.
Excited.
Me too. So
follow us on our social medias.
Yes, at It's Fate Podcast and rate, review, subscribe on Apple and Spotify.
Thanks.
Bye.